I'm Dr. Ashley.
And this is Sherry.
And this is From Her Point of View. It feels like we just started season 3 and we're already this many episodes in.
I know, but it was such a fun time.
Such a fun time. It's good.
So today we came together because we were going to give you guys a video, and then we're in this cute little restaurant and we were going to do a video, and then we decided we're not going to do a video. Not today anyway, but we are going to give you guys a video at a later time. But anyway,
it's coming.
This is our recap. First of all, we are excited to come together. Finally come together face to face, sitting together to record.
I don't know how many months it's been.
Months. It's been more than half a year.
I don't think we recorded any of this season together.
No.
Physically together.
Everything was virtual. But it was still fun.
Yeah, it was.
So much fun. So this recording is more so for us.
Yeah.
Like, we needed to come together, see each other, touch base, get the creative aspects of things flowing again, because this is where it started.
So talking about season 3, we did something a little different than we normally have done, but I think it was a really good idea to incorporate these guests into our episodes.
Absolutely.
And we picked some really good guests, and I'm really glad that we decided to do that this time. So let's talk about the first one. Let's talk about Just Press Foreplay.
First of all, the whole name, Just Press Foreplay, just stands out.
It does.
Like, just to hear that makes you think, well, what is she talking about? Mm-hmm. And then to have that experience with her, and for her to give us so much information about sexual things that we didn't know about was good. I really thoroughly enjoyed her a lot.
Yeah, Susie is great. Susie is great. And so let's think about that episode and what things stood out to you.
The Tantra and the Kama Sutra. And I don't know why, because when we talked about it, I was engaged. But it wasn't until we had future recordings with Killing Time that it really stood out to me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's what stuck with me. That's what stuck with me. And then also with Susie, she taught us as women to be comfortable with our preference, who we are, what we want to do, and the things that we want to engage in, to not be ashamed. Mm-hmm. And I appreciated that about her.
Oh yeah. One of the things that really stood out with me was not only was she knowledgeable about her topics, but she's so easy to listen to.
Yes.
Like when she's talking, it just flows, her voice is pleasant. It really resonates well in a podcast setting. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing. But also, like you said, about really connecting with yourself. That is a thing that a lot of women, we forget about, because you're more concerned with the other party than yourself. And that's in all aspects of life.
Yeah.
So then taking it back to the bedroom, you got connecting with yourself, getting to know yourself, what you like, what you don't like, what you look like, what you taste like, what you smell
all
like.
All of that. Because you want that experience with your spouse to be a good one. You want it to be something that they yearn for. But if you don't like you, how you gonna expect somebody else to like you or be into you like that? So Susie really put the stamp on things when she talked about just having that confidence and getting to know your body more so before you allowing anyone else to experience that, because no one knows what you want better than you do. And women, we forget about that.
She also brought up the divine feminine.
Yes.
Which is something that I want to further explore. I'm going to have to go back to more of her episodes and see, what she's talking about that, because it piqued my interest, and I don't think that we really dove into it as deeply as we could have in that episode.
We didn't. But yes, that is another one that we can definitely go back and talk about.
So, Susie, excellent way to start the season. She kind of laid the foundation of what we were going to do. Helped us roll right on into the next episode with...
She oiled our gears.
So we were ready when we moved into talking to Shawnee.
Because Shawnee was a firecracker, okay? I ain't even going to hold you. I loved everything about Shawnee. Her energy, the information that she provided to us was beyond what we thought we were going to get from her, but she gave it all to us, and it was just so much fun with her.
She too was a wealth of knowledge and just such a fun and open guest. I learned a lot from her. It was really interesting to learn more about the different strains of CBD. And
because that's something new that a lot of people are not talking about just yet, but I feel like it's going to be one of those things where everybody's going to be talking about it, and everybody's going to want to be engaged with it. Even with her episode, when I went back to talk to a few of my friends and family about it, they're like, CBD what? CBD lubrication? And I'm like, yeah, you should try it. And these are the benefits of it. And for anybody that is struggling in a relationship on the sexual side, she gave us the pointers, the compromise sandwich, that there's ways of going about communicating these needs and things to your partner and not feeling ashamed about it, but doing it in a way where it can be received. Because women can get frustrated, right? We get frustrated, and when we get frustrated, it just comes out. There is no sugarcoating, nothing. This is what it is now. But you could just ease them into the good and the bad, and then you can find your way through what it is that you need. And so she gave us that, and I appreciate that with her.
One of the other things that stood out with me with Shawnee was her collaboration with her husband.
Yes.
So they have their YouTube channel, and I think that's just phenomenal. The fact that they do it together and kind of lifts the veil and be like, married people still do have sex. They really do still enjoy each other. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to sit here with you, with him, and we're going to have this conversation. So that was good. And it also showed us how important open communication and interaction is. It's a good example for other couples.
I think the communication part is something with Shawnee that stuck with me, because I feel like if she was not able to properly communicate her needs to her husband and vice versa, they wouldn't be as successful as they are. Not only in business, but in their relationship, because they work together, but then they also cohabitate together in the home. And she also pointed out how they swing every now and again. But it wasn't even the fact that they're swingers. It was more so the fact that she mentioned them having to be on the same page, having to be in a good place in order for this part of their sexual experience to be beneficial to both of them. Because, we talked to some swingers in the past, talked to them about their lifestyle, and they never brought that up. It was kind of, this is what you're going to do or you're not type of thing. There was no, I don't want to say compromise, but there was no connection there. Like, this is what we're doing and that's it, whether you want to do it or not. Well, those relationships have failed because one person felt like they were giving more than they wanted to.
And that's where that communication comes back in. You got to really clearly line out what it's going to be. We both got to understand what it's going to be, both be okay with it, check in with each other and all of that, if you're going to have open in a swinging, relationship.
If that's something that you're into.
And also the other example pulling out from their interaction was the fact that you may not have their same communication style, but just being able to have that in a non-judgmental way. Like, I can come to you and say, this is what I want. Even if that's something that you don't want, you're not judging me for bringing that to the table.
And that's very important, because in relationships, we miss out on what we need because we can't communicate what we want. And like I said, when we do it, it just comes out. And so it's not being received very well. And so we could do a whole episode on effective communication.
Absolutely.
And what that looks like, and how effective that can be when you're doing it the right way.
Yeah. So they were an excellent example, and I'm so glad that we got her to join us on our podcast.
Yes. Like I said, Shawnee was a firecracker, but it was so fun talking to her.
It really was.
I think, and although you couldn't see the video, I think I was smiling the whole time. I was in the background. I could hear myself giggling in the background for some of the things that she said.
It's a good idea to actually pull some of those clips, like some screenshots of our faces in those conversations.
It was hilarious. I remember it was hilarious. And I think that's so crazy, because that day for me wasn't a really good day. Like, I had a lot going on that day, and I just made sure that when the time came, I honed in on that conversation, and it really changed things for me that evening. So yeah, appreciate you, Shawnee.
That was a good one. And then we move on to his point of view
With killing time. Okay, let's talk about killing time. Okay. Because I feel like I haven't stopped talking about them since our episodes came out, 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Not only am I talking about them, but I'm going back and listening to them on their own podcast. Because everybody, they have a podcast too, Killing Time Podcast. And they have a different style than we do, but I still appreciate the work and the content that they're putting out. Because they too have a lot of things to say. And if you ever want to know what a man thinks,
they're more than willing to tell you.
Exactly. And there's 3 of them.
Yep.
Totally different personalities, totally different mindsets. So you're getting 3 totally different perspectives on any given topic that they may bring up. And that I appreciate listening to them.
And it was so much fun too. I mean, even given the analogy of some chicken. Nobody wants to eat the same chicken every night.
The plain chicken.
You want some sauce. Mm-hmm. You
Barbecue
know, you
sauce.
might want to grill it. You might want to bake it. I don't know, but you're going to make it different. And it was just, they're funny. They were really open and ready to talk to us. They were like, all right, let's talk about it.
Yeah,
like what you want to talk about. Let's talk about it. So Corey, Ronaldo, Reggie, fantastic.
Thank you so much.
They weren't too big on the semen retention idea.
No, they weren't. So when I was listening to that, I was driving because I don't know if you guys...
Go ahead.
I don't know if you guys know, but usually when I'm listening to our recordings, when they post, I'm listening to them in the car and I'm driving somewhere, so I'm focused. And I had to catch myself because it was almost like my mind drifted off for a second when you brought it up. Because he was like, what is that?
Right.
And then when we got to talking about it, he's like, oh, hell no. Who's doing that? Nobody's doing that.
But the thing about it is, I think if they had a better understanding of the concept, they would be more open to it. Because just thinking about it, all it is just like saying no, basically. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just not going to do this. But if you could think about the rerouting and the repurposing of the energy,
but
and
control.
everything.
It's a control thing, and men most times want to be in control. This is the one thing that you can control. Can you control it? And you have to ask yourself that. Is this something that I can do? Save that energy.
Because they keep
for
saying there's
something
something
else.
I don't want to do.
Yeah.
But you have to see the benefits behind it in order to really want to explore it.
And that's when we got into the Tantra and how he was just like, if you in Las Vegas, it's on. Because all the what was it, the non-touching, we just going to communicate and get to know each other on an intimate level. He wasn't trying to hear that. But it makes sense because a lot of people, if people got to know each other on an intimate level, non-physical, imagine where relationships would be, right? But everybody's just so into, let's just have sex. And then they realize, oh, okay, this wasn't it. Because you're not connected. And in no way, shape, or form, you're not connected. So you think that the sexual engagement is going to be fantastic when you're not connected? Mm-mm. No.
Mm-mm. So that was good. And I'm glad that they carved out some time for us to kill a little time.
Yes, kill a little time. We're killing time.
It was really good. And so just that's a little recap of what we've gone over this season.
So if you
but
have
there's still
not,
more to come.
yes, because if you have not, I don't want to say season 3 is our best season yet, but it is our most exciting season because we're talking about the faux pas of sex and how people don't want to talk about it, but you got to talk about it.
You got to talk about it.
Because we're adults, it's happening.
We gonna talk about it.
And the people that we chose to bring on who accepted the invitation, thank you again, they brought really good content for us
Yep.
and our listeners.
So just so you know, episode 2 was Just Press Foreplay with Susie. You can follow her on Instagram at just_press_foreplay. Then we had Toy Talk Episode 3 with Shawnee Hart. You can follow her at Sex Stuff with Shawnee. And episodes 4 and 5 were with Killing Time. You can follow them at Killing Time Podcast, TYME.
And they're all on Instagram. And I believe that Susie and Killing Time are on Facebook. I don't know if Shawnee's on Facebook.
I'm not sure.
But she is on YouTube. She does have YouTube channel. So
and I think she has a website. The name of the channel?
I think it's Sex Talk with Shawnee, or is it New Orleans? The New Orleans.
I'm not sure, but they do have Hump Day with the Hearts. That's when her and her husband.
And you can click on the link on their page on Instagram.
So,
now that we've talked about all of the good things that have happened,
let's talk about what's to come.
Lots more to come. We are working and creating every single day. If you haven't noticed, check out our page From Her Point of View. We're putting out content and we're trying to streamline our posts to the content that we're discussing. So the posts are related to the content of the week. So moving forward, we will be implementing our famous, one-of-a-kind, one question, one truth.
It's coming back.
And with that, we are still looking for more participants. So if you're interested and you want to be a part of the conversation, please feel free to reach out to us directly. As like I said, we are accepting people on. It's not going to be a video. So it's totally anonymous if you choose to be, for the most part, because it's just an audio. Mm-hmm. But we're going to do one question, one truth.
And this time, we're bringing something a little different. We're going to have a male and female panel together. So if you notice in the past episodes, we have one question, one truth. They're all women. And last season, we had his point of view. Mm-hmm. This season, we're going to bring it all together. So we're going to keep on up with our tradition of one question, one truth. But we are going to bring the male and female listeners together so we can have a dialogue. And I think that's going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to recording that, and
that's going to be
with
the
theme
icing on the cake
of this season. That's just going to be awesome when it all comes together.
Yeah, because I think we continue to bring it back to communication, and the fact that we can have women and men together communicating with one another on our podcast says a lot. Mm-hmm. Because that's what we're pushing for. We're pushing for people to have these conversations. And now we have a chance to bring both parties together to have those conversations.
Mm-hmm. So that's what we got coming down the pipeline. So if you haven't already, catch up. Get ready.
Or get left behind.
And then get ready for what's to come.
You've been listening to From Her Point of View, the show curated specifically for women, by women, covering a wide range of topics. Though this is From Her Point of View, we want your point of view too. Become a part of the show. Questions, comments, and feedback are welcome through Instagram and Facebook, where we post regularly. Email us at FromHerPointOfViewLLC@gmail.com. Leave us a voicemail at 443-507-8032. Tune in weekly, and please share with your family and friends, as we can be found on your favorite platforms: Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Thank you for listening to